Ready? Good? Okay. I'll take it from the top. We're here today because we're outraged over the unjustifiable slaying of Dalvin Hollins by the Tempe Police Department. You all know his story. I'm joined today here with his father and his mother and his brother and family and friends and community members and organizers who are here because it doesn't make sense for an unarmed black teenager to be gunned down in the streets of any city and shot in the back. We believe the facts will prove that he was shot in the back. A lot of you don't know, but Dalvin was a Magellan patient because he had some behavioral health issues. It raises the issue of how the city of Tempe is dealing with people who are suffering with behavioral issues and mental health. We saw this play out in Phoenix. We're seeing it play out in other cities. The officers are simply not prepared. They're not trained with respect to mental health and cultural sensitivity to deal with the population that they're sworn to protect and serve. We believe, that the facts will prove that Dalvin was shot in the back. We believe that the facts will prove that Dalvin was running away from officers, not towards them, and posed no imminent threat to anyone on scene. We believe that the facts will prove that the officer involved did not properly utilize his body camera, turning it on only after the shooting. What is the point of having body cameras if you do not turn them on? We talked about the difference that cameras would make, but if the law enforcement officers don't turn the cameras on, what the hell difference does it make? The cameras should be on from the time they begin their patrol until the time they end their patrol, because we need to know the whole story, not half of a story. We believe that the facts will prove that Lieutenant Ed Womet used unjustifiable force and shot Dalvin Hollins, ending his life. That is Lieutenant Ed Womet, spelled O-U-M-I-E-T-T-E. We believe the facts will prove that Lieutenant Ed Womet only recently returned to active duty with the Tempe Police Department after spending a considerable amount of time on leave for mental health issues. And we believe that the facts will prove that Lieutenant Womet was not properly examined and healthy enough to return to his job. Now, we're here today, all of those facts considered, to demand an independent investigation. Never is it appropriate for a law enforcement agency to investigate itself when one of their own has shot down someone and should likely be behind bars as we speak. Yes. We are calling on the city of Tempe, if they pride themselves on their integrity as a law enforcement agency, to invite the Department of Justice in to conduct an independent investigation. But if they're afraid of allowing the feds to look behind the veil of injustice here at Tempe PD and Tempe City Hall, then we invite them to call upon another alternate local law enforcement agency to come in and conduct an objective, non-biased investigation into what happened. We're asking that Lieutenant Womet be fired. He ought to be fired. Probably should have been fired when he wasn't fit to go back to work after nearly a year out for being, as crazy as a Betsy bug. Shouldn't be here, shouldn't be wielding a gun, shouldn't be wielding a badge, shouldn't be terrorizing people and gunning down teenagers in Tempe. We want the Tempe Police Department to immediately release any documents available to the public and the media related to the disciplinary records of the officers involved. We're also asking the city of Tempe to confirm whether or not any of the officers involved were on the Brady list. We're calling for an emergency meeting. The mother, the father, the brother, with the leadership of the city of Tempe. 2 weeks ago, I came here to talk about body cameras and to talk about a lack of diversity in City Hall and within the police department. 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that the chief demoted or rearranged where the blacks were inside her department. Kicked one out of the administrative office, Detective Cobbs, and demoted the only black police commander in the entire Tempe Police Department. I raised a red flag 2 weeks ago about body cameras. I raised a red flag 2 weeks ago about mental health training and cultural sensitivity training. And you know what? Some people, including Councilman Shapira, said that there wasn't a problem like that going on in this city. I think now we know better. I think now we know better because a 19-year-old boy was shot in the back. And I know that the facts will prove that he was shot while he was running away from Lieutenant Womet. You don't shoot someone who's running away from you. You don't shoot someone who's unarmed. You don't shoot someone and let them die like an animal, bleeding out and not rendering first aid. You don't do that to anybody. They chased that young man for more than a mile and then shot him down like a dog in the back. Unarmed, didn't even have a shirt on. Those are the facts. And the fact that the city of Tempe and the police department won't tell you the name and the background and that information, we're not going to stand for that any longer. Our community has its sources too. We want justice. We want justice, and it's wrong. Before I let Dalvin's mother speak and brother and some other folks who are gathered here today, it's wrong. It's wrong of the city to behave as they're behaving. It's wrong for them to withhold information from this mother. It's wrong for them to withhold information from the public. It's wrong for them to investigate themselves. I dare you, any of you in the media and at home, commit a crime against your neighbor and then tell the authorities you want to investigate yourself. Good luck with that. It's immoral. It's unfathomable. And one more reason why our community does not trust local law enforcement, because they think that they're good enough and trustworthy enough and honest enough to investigate themselves, and we all know different from that, from experience as people of color in a country where law enforcement has had a terrible track record of violating our civil rights and ending our lives with unnecessary lethal force and damaging our bodies with brutality. So with that, I'm going to bring up Sarah Coleman. She's Dalvin's mother to give some thoughts about how she's feeling. We've got some youth activists that are out here too. He was 19 years old. So we were going to hear from the youth and how they're feeling about this, but we want you to hear from his mother. 19 years old.
It just hurt. My son was taken out like that. He did not deserve that. He didn't hurt them. He didn't kill nobody. He was scared, running away from the police. Because we hear about this all the time, every day, and I'm tired of it. I didn't know it was going to be my son next. I never knew that. It hurts. I'm never going to see him again. He took something away from me. He didn't have to do that. I'm hurting inside. I still haven't even got to see my son's body.
Sarah, can you tell me about your conversation last night with the police chief?
She wanted me to come and schedule her an appointment so they can apologize to me.
And it's my understanding she also was willing to give you all the facts and the information that you had up to that point.
Yes.
And you didn't.
Because I was I didn't schedule an appointment.
Why not? If you're looking for answers, why didn't you schedule?
Because she's a grieving mother. If you, and we're going to answer your question, Miss Rossi, and I'm going to tell you why. You don't kill somebody's son and then call them to schedule an appointment. The chief of police should get off of her rear end and get down to this lady's house and apologize. When you're wrong, you don't make the victim come to you. You go to the victim and you apologize. Yeah, well, she should have just come then. She should have just come then. She should have just, unannounced. This death came unannounced. Yeah, absolutely you come unannounced. No, we're not letting no spin go on here in Tempe today. There is no spin. No, this isn't spin. This is what I told you were facts. Ask the police department, and if they don't tell you, they're lying.
You said it was
they're lying.
Unjustified shooting.
Exactly.
We don't know the facts. They haven't even spoken.
There's a way to find out. That camera would have told them if it was justified.
Exactly.
You can show me that camera view that my son earned that bullet, then I can calm my family down.
Spend some time researching Officer Ed Womet and get back to us on what his deeds are and what his background looks like. Stop using the mugshot of this young man. Those charges were dismissed. Find a better picture. Find a better picture. That's racist in itself. Find a better picture. Find a better picture. That's what you can do. That's what the chief could have done. Find a better picture before they concocted their side of events and put it out there for you to digest and broadcast to our entire community. Find a better picture. Is there anybody else with a heart and a different question?
Well, what have you been able to come up with? How did you arrive at your conclusions? What kind of research did you do to come up with conclusions?
We have sources within the Tempe Police Department who have come forward. I've said for a long time, one of the problems with policing is that good cops are afraid to tell on bad cops because what might happen to them. But thank God there's some good cops in Tempe that are willing to start telling.
And people you have a rapport with.
That's right. That's right. And we're going all the way with this. You take that name, you take that mental health record, and you run that with City Hall. I dare them to deny that.
Those are facts.
Unfortunately, sir, we can't get that confirmed.
Right. Because they don't want to tell you the truth. Because no. You remember you covered the case of Romaine Brisbane and Michelle Cusseau in the city of Phoenix. And you know what? Chief Garcia got canned for that and other things, but they can tell you what the officer's name is. They can tell you his rank. They can tell you all that. They can tell you what they want to tell you.
Does all it take is for them to say that one of our kids has a gun before one of them gets shot?
Well, maybe they
got 5 kids standing right here. Babies. Does all it take is for somebody to say that they have a gun before they get shot? Because I don't believe none of us deserve that. Nobody deserves that.
I think that's a question. I think that's a question, and I understand where you're coming from. And I think that's a question. I think that's a question you should go and ask Lieutenant Ed Womet about. Right? He's a police officer, right? Sworn to protect and serve, to have integrity and to have honesty. And so you ought to be able to go to this honest and integrity-filled man and ask him if he spent a year or so off of the Tempe Police Department dealing with some serious mental health issues. And if we don't find that out now, we'll find it out in the lawsuit that's coming.
And you know, he is the law. He's not allowed to speak.
Well, you know what? You know what? If he has any kind of a moral compass that points true north, he will. He will. If he has any kind of conscience, he will. If his colleagues have any kind of conscience, they will. So ask them. These are victims. These are the victims. They're not protected by the law. They're not protected by positions that protect, frankly, the bottom line of a city's general fund. The only reason the officer won't talk to you is because the city doesn't want to pay out money. Well, they're going to pay one way or the other. So they ought to start talking. Anybody else?
Reverend, I have a question for Ms. Coleman. Did your son have a history with drug abuse or substance abuse?
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. No, I mean, it doesn't matter.
I'm just, did he...
He didn't have a gun.
He wasn't he wasn't using drugs when he was running
Thank you.
and got shot in the back.
Let's don't
And
focus on that.
I understand. I'm just
Thank you.
interested in his history and if he ever did struggle with that. Do you question if he robbed the Walgreens?
We're not questioning. We're not questioning any.
If he did rob Walgreens, he did not
Okay.
kill elementary students.
Right.
The man who killed those
Well,
elementary students.
no, it's just a. Excuse me.
I'm just saying.
I understand.
right.
I understand.
It shouldn't be dead.
It
I
don't
understand.
matter. That's the point.
Yeah, I understand.
We're not here. We're not here to argue those set of facts that have been put out by the police department. We all believe that the penalty for robbing a Walgreens or a Wells Fargo should not be the death penalty. That's what we understand. So you know, we're not here to debate whether or not Dalvin ever did anything wrong. What we're here to determine, and what all of us should be trying to determine, is whether Tempe Police used excessive lethal force to subdue or control a suspect. And shooting someone in the back when they pose no threat to you is excessive lethal force.
Period.
Do you think race had something to do with the outcome?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Suspect.
Yeah,
Come on.
yesterday we spoke with the family and they never said that.
Well, you know what? They were in shock.
They never said that to us.
Well,
because
they
we
were in
not
shock.
involved.
Did race have something to do with it?
Yes.
Did race have something to do with it? Sure. I don't care. The mother, the father says race has something to do with it. We say race has something to do with it. The track record of this police department says race had something to do with it. You know how race had something to do with it? Firing the city's first and only black commander. Having no black department heads or assistant department heads or directors of any department in this municipality. So hell yes, race had something to do with it, and it had something to do with it a long time before they shot Dalvin in the back.
You keep saying shot in the back.
Yeah.
So who has been able to substantiate?
Our police sources, the same ones that told us about Officer Moed's mental health and his name and his rank and all that information. So I'm trusting them, officers with integrity. And you know what? I want this word to get out too. If you're a Tempe Police Department officer and you have integrity and you want to tell on bad cops, start telling. Because we got your back. Those are the blue lives that matter. The ones that are going to tell the truth. The ones that are going to tell the truth.
Our son been dead for 3 days and we haven't been able to see the body.
Come on, y'all.
And the family will be conducting a secondary autopsy. When we leave here today, we're going to meet with their attorney and begin the process of trying to piece together even more of what happened as information continues to flow in. Did everybody get the correct spelling of the lieutenant's name? Okay, it's Lieutenant Ed, and it's pronounced, it's French, like Moppet, I should know this. It's pronounced, I don't want to mess it up, be disrespectful. It's pronounced Womet, Lieutenant Ed Womet, and it's spelled O-U-M-I-E-T-T-E. O-U-M-I-E-T-T-E. Any additional questions?
I have a question. So, Tempe Police policy on their body cameras, are you looking to have that changed? Because they didn't necessarily do anything wrong in this particular instance.
Absolutely.
Because they're allowed to not turn them on.
Absolutely. 2 weeks ago when we came here, we were saying that body cameras aren't enough. If they're not on, what is the point of using them? So we're saying today, I guess it took the blood of a 19-year-old black teenager shot in the back to convince this city that they ought to have a policy that requires officers to turn their cameras on during the time they're actively patrolling. I mean, that's what the cameras are for. Why would you not turn the cameras on? You know why? Because police unions get upset. Because officers talk about inappropriate sexual things, and they talk about inappropriate racial things, and they talk about inappropriate things in general, and they don't want that caught on their cameras while they're out patrolling. I've heard from officers that are part of the Tempe Police Union. They don't want their commanders getting upset when they talk a little trash behind their backs because that camera's on. Well, you know what? Black lives are more important than career security, job security. We need those cameras on. Maybe they need to watch their mouths too. But those cameras should be on, and that's definitely what we're going to challenge the city to do. Make sure that those officers are turning those cameras on. And not just Tempe, MCSO, all the cities that are doing it. Those cameras should be on. If the cameras were on like they were in Mesa, we would see the wholesale slaughter of a 19-year-old black kid on the streets of Tempe.
What about the claim from police that they got into a physical fight?
Should have had your camera on. Should have had your camera on. I don't believe anything that the police have to say because they didn't turn their cameras on. In fact, the officer had the nerve to mention that he turned his camera on several minutes after the shooting as if that mattered. As if that mattered. We all know what happened afterwards. You killed somebody. That mystery was solved before you turned the camera on. What'd you turn the camera on for? So you can huff and puff and cry your way out of a conviction for murder? No, we don't give a damn what was on that camera after the shooting.
Right. If the camera is on during the scuffle and shooting, there's no doubt we would know much more.
That's right. Should have been on.
No doubt.
You're right, Donna. Should have been on.
But you are assuming what went
No.
on. You don't know.
No,
either.
we're not assuming. We do know. We know more than we're saying. We know more than we're saying.
How can you know when you weren't there?
Oh, because we've talked to people who were there.
That's right.
We talked to people who were there.
The facts and the history of what's been going on. We know that our young people have been getting shot for carrying guns and acknowledging that we have them on us, and no threatening situation where we get shot for no reason at all. So does that make it any more or any less his fault?
We
might not even be here.
We're angry, and we're passionate, and we're outraged. But let me put this in a space we all can understand. We want the facts as much as anybody else. And we've received certain facts, and now we want those validated by the city. We want an independent investigation because we're not a lynch mob. No, the lynch mob is the mob that killed Dalvin. We're not the lynch mob. We're private citizens who happen to be of color, some not, who've come together to say that it is wrong for the Tempe Police Department to investigate themselves. Let's start with an independent investigation. Let's take a look at that officer. Bring in the Department of Justice. Bring in the Department of Justice. They will find out about this officer's background. They'll be able to find out about it. So that's what we're asking for today is for real transparency, for real truth, for real work towards justice. No disrespect to the city of Tempe and to their police chief. She can run this thing into the ground if she wants to. But give the responsibilities for pursuing truth and justice to someone who doesn't have a conflict of interest. That's all that we're asking the city of Tempe to do.
Who do you want to do the investigation?
Department of Justice.
Well, we take DPS, we take DOJ, we take MCSO, we take Scottsdale PD, we take Phoenix PD. Someone else, anyone else besides the department that has the finger pointed at them. We'll take anybody else because we can't allow the city of Tempe and its police department to withhold information as they're already doing and skew the report that will be produced that will then skew the view of our county attorney. He ought to be calling for them to have someone else investigate this too. Bill Montgomery knows about the importance of an unbiased investigation, and I believe he's a man of integrity and would appreciate getting the report from another department as well. If this is about building public trust, what do you have to hide? What do you have to hide? Let your brothers and sisters in law enforcement come and investigate you. What do you have to hide? What are you worried about? The cops are worried about being looked into by the cops? What kind of society do we live in where that is the order of the day? And they call us immoral. They call us behaving badly. They call us unreasonable. All we're saying is don't investigate yourselves. Let someone else do it. Let someone else do it.
Can I ask a question to Mrs. Coleman?
Sure.
Just pretty much what do you hope to happen moving forward? What do you want to come out of this?
Justice.
No more.
Justice for my son.
What does that look like? What does that look like to you?
Him being fired and
In jail.
in jail.
What do you need to see? What needs to do you want to meet with the chief? Or you want to meet with the chief? What's going to happen?
On her terms, yeah. on her terms.
Sarah, if I could ask you again, why did you not meet with the chief or allow her to come to your house like she offered to?
Because I was at a vigil last night, grieving with all my family members and his friends.
And so she asked you to call her back. You haven't called her back
No, I
today?
haven't called her back.
But she's willing to tell you what she knows at this point, yet you're not willing to meet with her. I don't understand that.
Because she's the one that didn't kill my son. I want the person that killed my son to tell me sorry in my face. She did not kill my son.
But she is willing to give you all the information.
She can't give me back my son.
She should also have the opportunity to consult an attorney as well before speaking with the chief.
Exactly.
You know what? If the chief wants to help this mother, she'll call for an independent investigation and let another law enforcement agency determine if this officer violated the law and allow him to be charged and allow him to be arrested or cleared. If the chief really wants to help. No more coffee and donuts. No more croissants and orange juice. Okay? She don't want breakfast with the chief. She wants justice for her son.
Thank you.
On her terms, on her time frame. This is the victim. Once again, Donna, you're breaking my heart. You're breaking my heart. On her time frame, on the victim's time frame. On the victim's time frame.
I told her, call me back.
You know when, you know what? Shame on the chief. And you know what? Had she had a black person in her office like there was under Chief Riff, the first Hispanic chief of police, then maybe they could have informed her on some colored folks etiquette, and she wouldn't have made that call. But you don't know how to talk to us if you ain't got nobody that looks like us around you. And that's a problem with the whole city hall. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, we...
Gentleman in the white, yes, you didn't get your name.
My name is...
Can you
Come to the mic and tell me your name.
Me?
both of you?
I'm Dalvin's stepfather. I'm Frederick Franklin.
I'm Dalvin's uncle. These are Dalvin's cousins.
And his brother.
And his brother.
And what's your name, sir?
My name is John Anderson.
John what?
John Anderson. I'm raised here. I've been here my whole life, and all we want is justice. All we want is an independent counsel, an independent investigation of people who will let us know the truth. An independent panel of people who are going to tell us what is the truth.
Yes.
We want to know what happened from beginning to end. Why is it not policy for them to turn on their cameras when they know they're going to work? But even the situation called for them to turn on their panel. There was a situation where they were called and they were told that there was a robbery. There was a gun involved. That should have automatically had them turn their cameras on. I have 5 boys right here, and I do not want none of them shot. This is my nephew right here. I don't want none of them shot because somebody said they got a gun.
Let me dovetail off of what you said. It's 2016. We're post Trayvon Martin, Freddie Gray, all these killings, Alton Sterling, all these killings, killing in Minneapolis, St. Paul. If you're a law enforcement officer with any sense or any measurable amount of intelligence, and you're chasing after a black man who you think has committed a crime, why on earth would you not turn your body camera on? In the current climate that we're in, right? Don't we tell black men, hold your hands up, comply? Well, it's the accountability works both ways. And if you're a law enforcement officer and you're going after somebody, anyone in general, but particularly black men, why would you not turn your body camera on? Common sense tells you turn it on. Common sense tells you not to shoot someone in the back. Common sense tells you to use the least aggressive amount of force to get someone into custody. Common sense tells you this. When you don't have common sense, You can't be for the common good, and you shouldn't be out in the community. Racism trumps common sense every time. And that's what we're dealing with here, is a failure of common sense, a failure of protecting and serving in the community. We've got a young lady, Sherelle, here from a group called the Millennials, and I think you ought to spend some time talking with her too. This cat was 19 years old. 19 years old, so don't ask somewhat older Reverend Moppin. Don't ask any of the adults that are out here. You can talk to some of the younger adults. They vote, they pay taxes, they interact with law enforcement. This is someone from his generation. He was 19 ye's old. So Sherelle's going to speak here from the Millennials. She's got some supporters of hers with her. We're going to give them some time here.
Did you want to ask him something first? I seen you.
Why is this the first time that Black leaders have come forward to do something like this, asking what you guys are asking today?
2 weeks ago we did, and a lot of you didn't come out and cover it. But 2 weeks ago when they had their little Uncle Tom rally here inside of City Hall, and they sat down with these sedity Negroes and preachers and talked about how good things were and how wrong we were about a lack of diversity inside City Hall, how wrong we were about a lack of a black police commander, how wrong we were about a lack of any black department heads, about a lack of any kind of plan. They said we were wrong. We were overreacting. We didn't understand how much progress they were actually making. And then this happened, and we're sick over it. And they ought to be too, especially Councilman Shapiro. He ought to be ashamed of himself. He ought to be. He's done a disservice to the black community. He's caused black blood to be spilled in the streets of his city, and so have all of his collaborators on that farce of a town hall meeting they had. Pastor Walton, Reginald Walton, of Lucy Phillips CME. If I were him, I couldn't even hold my head up in the black community.
Okay. Sherelle Council.
Can you spell your last name?
Yes, council like city council. So,
Charlotte, maybe it might be different.
Sherelle, Sharell. That's my first name. My last name is Council like city council. And I'm from the nonprofit organization Millennials. We are the change. I'm actually the founder and president, and they're part of my team. We're not here only because he is a black man. We're here because he is a millennial. He is one of us. He is part of the millennial generation, and we want to create change within that generation. And it's important to us that we speak upon social issues, and right now Black Lives Matter is the social issue to talk about. If something else would happen tomorrow, we would speak on that too, but right now this is the issue. First, I want to give my condolences to his family. I'm sorry for your loss. I don't have to know you to love you, and I love you. And secondly, I just want to speak on the mental health issue really quick, because it's a lot of misconception when it comes to that. Law enforcement and media know damn well how to cover and discuss mental health issues when it is a white man that goes and shoots up a kindergarten classroom. You have no problem addressing it then, but when it's us, we get our mugshots thrown up, and you don't want to address that we have mental health issues. But you don't have a problem supporting a white man who walks in and kills innocent kindergartners and walks out alive, or Dylan Roof, who gets taken to get food on his way to prison after shooting up a black church with his mental health issues. Y'all have no problem addressing that and talking about that the right way. But when it comes to us, it's a taboo thing. Black people can't have mental health issues. Is that what you believe? Because we do. It's a taboo thing for us to talk about, so I know it's a taboo thing for you guys to talk about. Black families are told, no, you just need prayer. But mental health issues are real among white people just as much as it's real among us. And I need everyone to understand that. They have no problem de-escalating a white mental health patient, but they have a problem de-escalating a black mental health patient.
That's it, right.
And also, I want to talk about the fear that's instilled into the millennial generation. We're going through a lot right now. The millennial generation, so we're clear, is 2004. All the way back to 1982. That's the millennial generation. That's the generation that we're about. That's the generation that we want to save and uplift. And it's important that we get them, these ones right here, that we get them before this happens, before we're on the news screaming their name, or before he's a hashtag. What's your name, honey?
Lamar.
Before it's hashtag Lamar.
That's my baby.
That's important, that we get them before they're a hashtag, and before we have to scream Black Lives Matter for their lives. Because I tell you what, if it was my brother that I was standing up here for right now, We wouldn't be standing here having a press conference asking for peace, okay? I would ask that as soon as I walk away from this building that you light it up, because that's what we're gonna do. I'll be damned if it's my family, my brother that's shot and left in the street. You show no respect for our families. You run clips constantly of us being killed on live camera. You run those clips back to back on the news, spread it through the outlet, through social media outlets, and we have to watch our men die. You desensitize people to our deaths. That's what's happened. When you replay those deaths over and over again, people get so used to it that they're no longer sad when it happens. So watching a black man die is an everyday thing now. And we want to change that. We want to create change in the community among these young people. That's who I'm reaching out to. I'm reaching out to all the young people that are going to watch this, anybody that is a millennial, and even the ones after us. We're reaching out to you, that you come and be a part of the change, because we outnumber every generation greatly. If we all speak up, we can create a change, and I promise you that. If everybody in our generation spoke up, voted, did what we had to do, get people in place that give a damn about our city and represent us well, we would not have these problems. The issue in cities like Ferguson and such as in Phoenix is that people don't go out to vote, so what you get is a city official who doesn't care about you. People in Ferguson didn't vote, so what they got was a representation of a white city when they're a majority black city. So you don't get out and vote, and it's important that you spread that knowledge to get out and vote. It's important that we take a stand right now, because it's our time, this generation, it's our time to speak up. And it's time that we do that. So that's important to me. I also want to speak about there being discipline when cops kill innocent, unarmed people, black, white, Mexican, Asian, I don't care. There needs to be some kind of repercussions. And especially mental health. There's been a lot of deaths in the mental health society by police officers because they don't know how to deal with them. They have to learn how to interact with them and not make excuses for us the same way you made excuses for the white people that's done it. Mass murders that run up in movie theaters and kill innocent people. You made excuses for them. Make excuses for us then. Throw our mugshots up onto the news, and that's the first picture that everybody gets to see of us. Mind you, he said the charges were dropped. So he's an innocent man. And you throw our mugshots up and have people look at us, well, he was a criminal. Like, as if that makes it any better that he was murdered. Because that's what it's murder, you know? And so we want them to address that. Also, we want to address the blue wall of silence. Like he said, cops, speak up. It's time to break down that blue wall of silence. Because you know what? I don't believe all cops are bad cops. But you know what makes all cops bad cops is the ones that don't speak up. You're a bad cop too. Your silence is just as bad as what they're doing. And it's time that we break down that blue wall of silence. Somebody get into that blue wall of silence. They ask us to join the task force. Our brothers don't want to be police officers. We don't want no part to that. No, we don't want any parts of that. But you know what? It's only so much we can do from the outside. We want to work with the millennial generation and get us inside. Run for city council. Get you a position of power. Let's create some change. Let's make them hear us. It's time that you come out and you make your voice heard. As a millennial, that's who I'm reaching out to. Black millennials, Hispanic millennials, white millennials. If you believe that Black Lives Matter and what's happening is wrong, come out. Come out and support and come out and make a change. There's only so much you can do from your couch at home. There's only so much you can do eating out and walking around Tempe Mill Ave like somebody wasn't just killed down here a couple days ago. It's only so much you can do. So it's time for us to create a change. He touched on so much that I don't even have to touch on, so much that I want to touch on. He said it, he repeated it, but that's who I'm reaching out to. The millennial generation, let's get out and let's make some things happen. We have to make our voice heard. Like I said, we outnumber everyone. If we vote, if we get out there and make our voice heard, they have to hear us. It's our time, and it's time that they hear us. And that's what I'm asking. And I'm asking that some things be changed within the police department. I'm asking that they be held accountable for the lives that they've stolen. Yeah, we inconvenience you when we protest, but you've inconvenienced us by having us have to watch our black men lay in the street and die and have to plan a funeral out of nowhere. That's when you inconvenience us, so it's time we inconvenience you. And that's what protest is for. That's why we get out there in those streets, because we're going to disrupt your life. You think you're going home tonight? We'll block the freeway. You're not going home tonight. You're going to spend some time with us, the same way we have to spend time sitting at a funeral home, planning a funeral for a death that's uncalled for.
Thank you.
So that's what we're about, and that's what our organization is about. We're not just about Black Lives Matter. We are definitely about Black Lives Matter, but we're about social issues and creating social change and getting justice. And if you want to know more about our organization, you can check out our website. It's millennials, WATC.org, and you'll see what we're all about. You'll see that we're all inclusive. We're not excluding anybody. Black Lives Matter is all inclusive. Anybody can come that agrees that Black lives are being taken. Anybody that understands our stance is welcome to join the movement. They're welcome to join the millennial movement. If Black Lives Matter is interesting, that's fine. Let's create change somewhere else, though. There's room for everyone in the movement. There's room for every voice and there's a job for everyone here. You know, even you guys. And you guys, you do your job poorly because you portray us badly in the news, and then you twist our stories, and there's room for you guys in the movement. If you just want to do the right thing, that's it. Just hear them out, and you know what? You're right. You said we don't have all the facts, but they're not giving us any facts. You're right. But they're not telling us anything, so we went and did our own job. We went and did our own investigation. And we got what we got. We got answers. The same answers we got, you guys can go out and get them. I guarantee you, you have more connections in the police department than we do. So if you want the answers that we have, go get them. Go get them. Do your research. We've done our research. Do your research.
Good job. I want to add, let's show her some love. Put your hands together for her. I want to add one thing. The reporter from Channel 12 hit on something, and I want to clarify this. This has been a lengthy press conference, but it's important. We don't just protest. We move from protest to policy. That's a myth that's out in the media. In Phoenix, after the marches, we submitted a 12-point plan to that city for police reform. And if you check your email, you all get emails from me. You should. You probably get too many. If you check your inboxes, you will see that I sent you all a list of concerns that we had just a couple weeks ago about the city of Tempe. So I wanted to clarify her point. We have been on this city for policy. Mayor Mitchell said a few weeks ago that he wanted to sit down with me and talk about diversity and this. You can't put it off. People are dying. Lives are hanging in the balance. So we're not abandoning the policy end, but we're damn sure not giving up on the protest end, because that's the only thing that brings them to the table. And it's sad that we have to come with the blood of a martyr to get people to do a reasonable thing and affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every citizen's life, irrespective of the color of their skin, and to protect and enforce their civil rights. So are there any additional questions? Okay. Sure, absolutely.
I just wanted to, my name is David McComb. I just wanted to address the question that this young woman had over here. She said that he had done nothing wrong, and I believe words have meaning and words have power, and illegal and against policy is different than wrong. I believe what he did was wrong, not having his camera on. Anti-policy, we believe some of the laws are wrong. We believe a lot of the policies are wrong. So wrong is different than illegal or anti-policy. Exactly. Just want to clarify that. Yep.
Thank you for hanging with us. We want to give you time to edit it. Don't spin it, just edit it. And dig for the truth. If we found out his name, his rank, and his mental health background, I know the Fourth Estate can find out a hell of a lot more. We got faith in you. So thank you very much for coming.
Should have never died.
Of course.
The mom, one more thing.
Ms. Coleman has additional statement.
Do you want her to say it? Okay.
He was my son. He was my baby. He was my world. I'm never gonna see my son again. Rest in peace, Dalvin Hollins. We're gonna get you the justice what you need. And please, I would like to see my son's body. I want to view him. It's been long. You guys took him from me. Please, I want to see my son. I want to see him tonight. Please, please let me go see my son. Please, please.
Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Yes.